Good evening and welcome to the Halcyon Show. My name is Lorne Risley, host of the show. How are you doing? Let's just give that a little tweak. That's a bit better. How the hell are you doing? It's been a minute. I actually don't remember when I last went live. When did I last go live? I think it was a while ago now. Can't exactly remember. This is the problem, and my memory is just not great. So 22 days ago. 22 days. So, it's been a minute. It's been 84 years, says Charlie. Yeah, you're right. It's been a long time. It's effectively been since I started my job, which is kind of where the topic of this video came from, but I don't want to be too... I don't want to give you the false impression. The reason why I wanted to title the topic of this video stress is that normally I don't really deal with stress. I don't have a lot of stress in my life these days. I tend to do my best to try and mitigate it and avoid it wherever I can, because I'm not someone that does well under pressure. I like to know things, and I like to have a decent idea of what comes or what's going to happen, or that I've scheduled it, or I've got some semblance of control over situations. That way, whenever I can start to feel my temper peaking or my energy levels starting to hit highs, or just anything in general, it means I can sort of keep a lid on things and make sure everything's on an even keel. Last few weeks, man, that has not been the case. So, long story short, I started a new job. In any new job, it'll take you sometimes as much as 3 months to get settled in a gig for a multitude of reasons. Just A, not knowing anyone. B, not really knowing how your days are going to go. C, learning new tasks and skills, and then there's everything that comes with the new gig, i.e. uncertainty, questioning your own abilities, all sorts of things, right? And in my case, that hits me quite hard physically and mentally. But of course, I wasn't content to just make it hard. I was content to make it as hard as it possibly could be. So, on top of feeling stressed about the new job, I decided to enroll myself in a few courses to try and help the job, but that meant, putting extra hours in after work on top of work hours. And I'm training again. I'm training an hour and a half every single night. So, I only get maybe 2.5 hours, maybe 3 hours, like, downtime on a daily basis. And so I've not really relaxed. And as a result, my energy has been completely focused on that, and YouTubing has taken a complete back seat. Luckily, we had an interview in the can. Raz Wren came on a few weeks back and was kind enough to sit for an interview. That was a good one. He really enjoyed it, and I really enjoyed it as well. It's live now. You can go check it out. There's also an interview with Kick Nelly that I still need to sit down and edit together because of the way that it was filmed and a couple of drops on the internet my side. It's going to take some time to cobble it together to make it sort of make sense. But for pure stress, man, it just sapped me. Just completely sapped everything I had, to the point where YouTube has taken a complete backseat. Like I say, looking at it and seeing it's 22 days. And even this live stream, I don't know if anyone noticed, it was scheduled for 2 days ago. I was supposed to go live 2 days ago and didn't, because I got to about 7:30, having gotten back from a run or a session or whatever it was. And I was just wiped, man. I just crashed right here and went to sleep. And I got up the next day and got straight back to... Oh, hooray. Alright. Stupid OBS. OBS sucks, man. There it is. It dropped for a second. I just saw it drop. But nevertheless, I wanted to talk about it because I don't know. It's been a long time, Charlie. It has. And I'm apologetic, because here's the thing. I was getting regular on YouTube up until I started my new job. I did not sleep. No. So whenever I get in from a run or I finish a session, I usually to let you in, and not that anyone's looking for weight training advice. One of the things that I like to do to get myself mentally in the frame of mind to train is I have a shower before I train to feel clean and like, okay, stretching out and loosen up and all the rest of it. Hot shower is usually a good thing, then followed by like a quick cold burst just to kind of wake you up and really get you alert. And then one afterwards, it just helps you kind of come down from the stress and the strain of training. So don't worry, I wasn't stewing in my own juices or nothing like that. You know what I'm saying? Troy, UK Battle Rap's #1 fan and probably its greatest fan. Welcome. Thank you very much for joining me. Joining us. Charlie's in the house as well. Charlie, Troy, holla. Anyways, the stress of it all has really sat me, but I wanted to talk about it because I don't know how often people deal with stress at the moment in a productive way, because one of the things that I've noticed having been stressed out is I started really wanting to fall back on bad habits, man. So again, full disclosure, back in the day, when I was feeling pretty stressed on a regular basis, surviving, Troy, surviving. I hope you're doing good. I hope you're all okay. Again, I've also been off social media. This is how fucking tired I've been. I haven't even found time to go on Twitter or any social media recently, so I haven't really seen anything going on. So a lot of the UK, but I saw some Gem stuff. Gem went off a little bit on the hype for the August card. I might have a little admission about that I'm a little bit disappointed. So I have a ticket for Apex. I don't know if I can do I don't know if I can do it. I don't know if I can do a day in London on top of all this shit at the moment, man. I really want to. I really do. I just, energy-wise, man, I'm just so tired at the moment. And this is the thing. I feel like this is what working guys go through every single fucking day. And I don't know how you guys do it. I don't know how you guys wake up at 6, 7 in the morning, head to work, head to site, head in the van, go to the office, sit in an office around people that you've got to, there's a slight performative element to it. For 8 or 9 hours, and you have to make do with whatever you can find, usually at lunch, because most of us don't take packed lunches. Sometimes you'll skip your breakfast, not have enough nutrition, you'll be on your coffees, you'll be on your vapes, and then you get in, you're so fucking tired from having to put up with all the shit during the course of the day, you just want to sit and eat something that makes you feel a little bit happier. It just gives you a little bit of a happy release, you know what I mean? Yeah. Well, this is the thing. So, gentlemen, it kind of you two should be hosting this shit, not me, because basically this is what I'm coming to. Because the only way I found to survive over the last last week in particular, the first 2 weeks were just fucking brutal anyway, because it's a new job, and you kind of, any job, you're always going to be deep ending it sooner or later. At some point, you're going to be face to face with the new gig, and no one to hold your hand, and you just got to nut up and get on with it, right? And so, again, I felt those tendencies start to kick in, like, oh man, I just want to go to bed. Oh man, I don't want to do that training. Oh man, so I bought books, I bought training courses for my new job, and it's like, oh man, I don't want to do them. I just want to turn it off. I just want to turn my back on it. What I've found in life is that whenever you start to feel that tension and it started to crank on you, it's always better to embrace the challenge rather than shy away from it or try and minimize it. I'll give you an example. Again, with my training, but we'll counteract it to when I was a bit younger. When I was 20, 25, 26, okay? So this is back, when I was still not really in my vocation now. I was kind of doing customer service shit, but I was doing it for a company that, I was doing a job I really wasn't very good at in sort of complaints management or complaints handling. And I was eating crap every day. I couldn't exercise because I was so mentally drained from it. And it was just everything in me just to kind of ignore it and just dread going into work every day. Do you know what I mean? And just every day that dread got a little worse. And every day I kept on going to bed and waking up and feeling like I was still at work somehow. Do you know what I mean? In this gig, what I've done is I've tried to embrace the challenge of it a little bit more. Every hurdle that I've hit, I've tried to just go, right, okay, this is the situation. You can get mad about it, or you can deal with it. And I've dealt with it. The training has helped. The courses, I mean. So reading. I don't know if y'all know anything about IT. IT love an acronym, man. Fuck me. I must have learned 50 or 60 new acronyms in the last 3 weeks, and I bet you I don't remember more than a tenth of them, and even fewer of those I could actually tell you what the acronym stands for, but I probably couldn't tell you what it is. So there's but it does help me contextualize a lot of what I'm seeing day to day. Another thing I've been doing is I've been doing extra hours in the evening on top. And the reason I've done that is because then I can sort of dictate the pace of my day. One of the things about stressful situations is their unexpected nature. When you're stressed out, and Troy and Charlie were kind of touching on this earlier, stress is effectively fight or flight. And because of the world we live in, the fight or flight mechanism is there for a short burst. It's meant to kind of alleviate danger. You know, you either deal with the threat by fighting it, or you alleviate yourself of the threat by leaving it, by flying from it. Because it's not threat per se, it's stress from a fear, a panic of an unknown situation or an outcome of a situation, you find yourself in an almost perpetual state of stress. And the biggest problem with that I found is that the fight or flight mechanic is it anticipates that you're going to need energy for the fight or flight, the physical response to stress. So dieting and exercise becomes so difficult because your body wants to hold on to all of its energy all the time in case it needs to fucking react. But because you never actually do, you just sort of hold weight. So of course the first 2 weeks, man, I'd ballooned up by about 4-5 pounds, something like that. I was 15 and a bit stone at that point, and I'm still training and I'm still dieting and all the rest of it, but my body wasn't having it. Sleep was difficult. Sleep was very, very difficult. Putting my head on the pillow was just like I could close my eyes, I could put on a podcast in the background on low just so that there's a bit of white noise, and my head just could not drift off, son. But then the mood changed. The training started to kick in a little bit more. Embracing and just taking on the challenge, saying, right, okay, I think I've had enough now. Just give me the reins, right? Let me dive in. Let me get into this. That helped. Asserting myself in some of these situations. But the most pertinent thing was being honest, right? I think one of the hardest things to maintain when you're in a stressful situation is when you're trying to put a mask on it and a bit of a brave face on it. Or you just indulge in the fucking... the despair of it all, like, oh no, it's going wrong and oh, it's terrible, right? I've just been honest and said, yep, it's far from ideal. It's not great. But there are certain things I could do to alleviate it. And the thing is, the more effort you put in, over time, that tension eases because you're able to contend with that level of stress on a regular basis and even minimize it. And I wanted to talk about it because I think that not many people have that level of support to get through that initial phase, or who need it. Now, in my case, I just kind of need my space. That's why I've not really been doing YouTube. And if I can be candid with you, there's only 2 people who I've messaged in the last couple of weeks to say, hey, I'd really love to get this interview booked in. One of them was Bobby Rex. Still waiting to hear back on that one for a firm date. The other one was Harry J. Robertson, aka Heretic, because he's been busy and I've been looking to lock him down. Pedro... Zen, Crow, there's a few others. These are guys that I'd messaged at the beginning of June, I think it was, or maybe middle of June, with a view to getting them booked in July. But then, of course, my new job is taking precedence. So it's a case of I'm just going to try and take things a bit steadier. Because the other thing about stress is that sometimes people go off complete deep end and want to take on too much and put the world on their shoulders. You've got to be honest with yourself about what you really can contend with. And that's what I've done. I've been like, right, I need to put my energy in one place. That's the best place for me to put it. As you've probably seen with my YouTubing, if you followed any of my YouTubing over the years, when I'm in it, I'm in it. I'm uploading once, twice, 3 times a week on a consistent basis for maybe 2 or 3 months at a time, especially when I started getting the interviews through the door, when I started having 2, 3, 4 interviews a week and then releasing them on a weekly basis. And I'm hoping to be able to resume one day. But for right now, again, the reason why I've not been uploading or live streaming or any of that consistently is just because my energy levels have been completely directed to my job to get good at it so that everything can settle down again and we can get back into it. So I'm just going to read some of the comments. So Troy mentioned, Gem and Bizzo have been going at it, which, do you know what? Great. I'm all for the promo game. I won't tell you who I was talking to, because this is the weird thing. Even though I've not been on social media, I have been talking to people. I'm still close to a lot of them. Not close, but you know what I mean. Like, I count them as my friends. one guy in particular was kind of down on this year in terms of battle rap. He said that something to the effect of, he was disappointed that there wasn't more energy and more chat in the scene, and that, you know, it just seemed like more of the promos weren't, you know, quite as epic and as you know. I'm inclined to agree with him. It's a weird thing. I mean, we've had, obviously, Lunacy's return was big. I don't know how well a job Don't Flop did in promoting that, though. I think that when the Daddy's Home promo picture dropped, that was a huge thing. People were super fucking excited for it. And they didn't really capitalize on it until the event and the week of. You know, me and Cammy both got interviews with Luna the week before, which was great for us and great for, hopefully, Luna in the event. But we're not affiliated with Don't Flop. So, you know, I feel like that was a bit of a wasted opportunity. Obviously, the Gem and Bizzo match, because I'm still not 100% clear if it's... I'm assuming Don't Flop's title isn't on the line. It is only the Prem title that's on the line, which means that only Gem technically can unify the belts. But, of course, you know, if Biz wins, then, you know, by default, he is the, you know, he is the champ. I'm excited about that. I'm excited to see what the two best leagues in the world, in the UK, can produce. Now, I get that a lot of guys, in particular Bobby won't mind me sharing this, because Bobby has this thing now. I included it in Raz Ren's chat, where he has this he has this hook he sang to me, and I loved it so much. I'm like, do you know what? I think I'm just gonna steal it and use it for my own. It goes, RZA, and this shit battle rap text. And I loved it because I thought it was fucking hilarious. But I love the idea of the interpromotional stuff. It gives it a sense of occasion and a sense of a competition, which I think sometimes is missing in battle rap. I think, especially when it's a Prem-only event these days, there is the feeling of, well, these guys are all mates. And it is just an act. And it's not very well hidden that it's an act. You know what I mean? Whereas back in the Don't Flop days, they did seem to really... What? Oh no, Troy's just posted. Bobby versus Censor ain't happening. The fuck happened? What? Bobby went on a fucking torrent at one point. He was booking battles left, right, and center. He's not dropping any. What happened? Someone tell me what happened immediately. I order you, minions. Go on social media and tell me exactly what happened and when it happened. I need to know, because that is that. I mean, if it's for bad reasons, again, I apologize for my haste in demanding it. I'm sure. As long as everyone's happy, healthy, and it's just a conflict of schedules, fair enough. But, like, as long as no one's, you know, as long as someone's died or anything. Censor dropped out. Okay, fair enough. I mean, Censor's been a long time coming back. I don't know if he has had any battles recently. But I know that I was particularly excited. I looked into Censor when I was prepping for my Bobby notes. I did. I have Bobby notes, by the way. He's a guy I've been looking forward to interviewing for a while, so I made pretty fucking extensive notes. And Censor, when I saw he was prepping to battle, I wanted to look into Censor a bit more. And that, after seeing a few of his battles, it made me like, woo, this one threatens to have some fucking energy to it. You know what I mean? But that's, man, that is, shit. That is not good news. Troy. Sometimes your fanaticism, you should keep it to yourself, ruining my fun. Nah, fair enough, man. I appreciate you saying that. And that sucks. I mean, look, as far as the card itself, man, I think it's still got enough on it for me to this is the trouble, man. I want to go. But at the moment, man, in the last 3 weeks, the only days where I can feel like me, like Lorne, just the podcast dude, is on a Saturday. It's my only day where I can feel, no, you're not sorry. That's the point, Troy. You're not sorry. But it's all right. I'm only joshing you. But anyways, Saturday's the only days I can feel like me. And I think the event is either on a Friday or a Saturday, I forget. And it's in London, which means it's a fucking... I almost prefer to go to Manchester at this point, because I know I can park and I know I can get in and out of the city without too much trouble. Man, that Don't Flop event, driving in... Fucking hell, man. It broke my heart. It really did. I'm staggered I got away with getting no fucking... I I'm staggered I got in without getting a fucking parking fine or a congestion charge or a speeding offence or fucking knocking someone off their scooter or some shit. I was terrified driving around London that day, man. It was fucking horrendous. And it took me fucking 4 hours. It's 60 miles from my house. How the fuck does it take me 4.5 hours to get there and back? Whereas Manchester, yeah, it's 3.5 hours from here to there, but it's 3.5 hours clean. You just pop on a podcast and cruise, man. It's easy. London, it's 25 miles an hour, short shifting constantly. 1, 2, 1, 2. Fucking breaks your heart, man. And it's by myself. I think it might be a little bit different if I had company, but again, no one in Northampton seems to give a fuck about battle rap. So apart from David's around the corner from me apparently. So yeah, and he's got a battle coming up soon. David, let me grab him. Let me grab his handle. If anyone's not, I need to make sure. Where is he? Yeah, David Williamson. There he is. He's on Twitter. He's got a battle booked on, I think it's Short Circuit 7 on the 10th of August, and it's his first battle. So I want to hope he gets a lot of support. Bless him. I'm gonna try and ping him to see if he'll let me hear his rounds, because I'm quite eager to hear how he's getting on. Charlie mentions you want to use public transport. So yeah, I mean, I'd feel better about using public transport if the battle rap events didn't go on so late, Charlie. The trouble is, if it was during the day, so the one I did was Plug 3. Plug 3 finished at about, I want to say it was 4, 5, 6 o'clock. Like, it wasn't super late. So getting back on the tube to get on a train to go back to the Midlands was fucking easy because the trains were running. Obviously, Don't Flop overran by half an hour, so it was 10:30 by the time I actually got out of there. And I don't know if the trains and the tube run at that time of night or when they finish. So, and I sure as fuck wouldn't want to do it by myself, man. I'm only little, and in a big wide city like London, I'm gonna get picked on. So, you know what I mean? It's just not. The juice is not worth the squeeze to do the public transport. So if I'm gonna go, so this is the thing. I have the ticket booked. I had every intention of going. And if I'm going to go, I'm going to drive. I'll book a parking spot near to the event and I'll just drive there. I'm just dreading it, man. I'm just dreading it. I really don't want to drive to London. But anyways, the reason I got on this rant, the fact that Bobby isn't facing censor is a shame, but I am kind of keen to see how Prem respond to the last couple of months of there not really being anything on the battle rap front. I feel like they probably need to make a statement over the next 2 events, because the person I was talking, again, I'm not saying who it was, but the person is kind of right. The energy hasn't really been in the room. The energy hasn't really been in the room for battle rap for a little bit. I couldn't even really tell you why. I feel like the appetite's there. I feel like enough of the battlers are down, especially given my conversations with a lot of them. A lot of them are saying, basically, you know, I'm getting offers and I'm excited about this, that, or the other, but only if this, that, or the other happens. And then just doesn't seem to be happening at the moment. So not that I'm equating that to the fact that I've been a little quieter this year. Am I in a position to say that? Am I a big enough deal to be able to call my absence from the battle rap scene directly causal to the battle rap scenes? Can I say that? I don't know if I can say that. You can though. Go tell everyone Without Lawn battle rap dies, because then that'll piss off the right people. Nah, I'm joking. I'm only fucking with you. Guys, I tell you what's been nice, right? So, a couple of videos dropped that did make me happy for battle rap, which was, one of them was the Quill behind the scenes of Checkpoint 5. Quill is a menace, man. I love his mic work and his ability to be able to fucking just stick a microphone in anyone's face and be like, randomness. I love it. I really want to see more of Quill do more hosting and presenting, because I think he's got that showmanship quality of Quill, I think is great. I think it really is great. And Gas Buff, what does he call it? He calls it the podcast. There it is, where he does his Twitter streams. I love those too, because I think he's the only. What did he did one the other day, didn't he? He did one where it was like, oh god, the worst battlers, or the least good battlers. I forget what he said, but I remember reading the title and being like, if I hosted a live stream that said something to the effect of the worst battlers in the UK right now, my DMs would fucking light up with, how the fuck you, fucking prick, this, that, the other. And it just, I wouldn't hear the end of it. Gas Buff does it, and everyone gets immediately, oh, it's Gas being gassed. Do you know what I mean? He has a unique way of straddling that line between work and shoot, and I love it. I love Gas. Again, Gas has got such a great future ahead of him as more of a pundit, as more of a talking head, because I think as great as he is a battler, and he's a super entertaining battler. His No Loose Chat battle, I really rated him in that. He fucking cooked in that battle, man. He was great. His battle against Crow has dropped recently on Don't Flop as well. Rewatch that if you can watch. I'm right at the back of the room on the left-hand side. There's a floating head in and amongst the crowds, just head and shoulders, and there's a floating head. That's my fucking floating head, so you can see where I am during that and the Raz Ren battle when that drops. Crow was great, but I really loved Gast in that because, again, full get-up, total commitment. It was great. So yeah, I like those two guys doing their thing, and I think both of them are hungry to create and produce content in the scene. I'll tell you the other one that really got me was the Anderson Burris promo stuff. I mean, I know he's got the reputation as the promo guy, but that ScoMo promo that he cut with the AI Conor McGregor. He is a problem, isn't he? Like, if Anderson decides he wants to have fun with you, I don't envy that. That is a position I don't want to be in. I hosted a 2-hour podcast cutting a promo on an entire genre. If someone had sent that to Anderson and then said, "Hey, do you maybe want to talk about this guy?" I'd be writing a will, leaving stuff to the kids, because that's it, dude. Anderson comes after you. That is. And he's so entertaining as well. He's just I'd love to get him on at one point, but I don't know if he'd be interviewable, if that makes sense. I think he's the kind of guy that would. He reminds me a little bit of Paul Heyman in the sense that Paul Heyman never gives straight answers in interviews. He only gives promo answers. Greatest example of that is when he was asked about the Brock Lesnar Undertaker match, and he was like, "Maybe it wasn't cold. Maybe Brock took it." And then everyone in the audience is like, "Did Brock really take it on the Undertaker?" And it's like, fuck, he's working, you guys. That's how he works. He never gives you a straight answer, but that's what makes him so entertaining. And Anderson's exactly the same. He's just always working, always thinking, always cranking, and you got to admire it. You got to love it. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go on Twitter, find Anderson Burris, Burrus, I think it is, and there's it's like a, I want to say it's like a fucking, the song it reminds me of is Gold Dust. It's an older school song. It's like Gold Dust, da 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 da, and it's dun 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 dun. That sort of beat, like that old school, not drum and bass, but like that sort of, that blend, that Chase and Status style. Do you know what I mean? But he's got an AI Conor McGregor rapping along, using segments from the ScoMo backwards and forwards. It's fucking brutal, man. And yeah, it's fucking brutal. And the crazy thing is, because the only other things I can think that are sort of that like you can compare it to is like, I remember Luna C posted something about Quill at one point where he just literally muted, it was Quill's battle in Germany, and he muted it and just had Quill's movements to the Bee Gees, I think it was, or ABBA or some shit, and it's just mocking him for the way he's moving. Now, it was funny, but put that next to Anderson Burris' shit, it's a different league, man. It really is. So yeah, I'd love that. Sorry, I'm on a tangent again, but I love that. Those promos give me life at the moment in between the battle rap events. See, now even talking about it, man, I don't know if I can miss the event just because I need to be there. If you're a battle rap fan, man, watching it on YouTube's great. Don't get me wrong, but you really do need to be at the events, man. There's an energy, there's a vibe, there's something about being around the guys before and after the battles and seeing the battles when they're going and feeling it. You know what I mean? So, god damn. Where is it held again? I think it was in someone. Was it Troy posted it? Where is it? The Amersham Arms. All right. Fuck. God damn it. All right. I'll look at parking later. I'll look at parking and see if I can get some parking fucking book. Talking about stress, and I just added to my plate. Fucking sick. Anyways, back to stress on this 20-minute tirade I just had about battle rap. So stress. Let's get back to it. So I think part of it, Southeast London. All right. Actually, I was talking about comments, wasn't I? So Charlie, back to the top. Charlie was saying you need to sleep and find ways to relax your mind, and then you can keep going. And then Troy responded with, "Nah, bro, I feel you. I've been going through it recently too. It's a madness, but you got to keep grinding." And then Charlie's responded by saying, "It's funny how we hit our mental limit before we hit our physical limit. Challenges are just useful for learning, and they give you funny stories to tell your friends." The angsty superhero phase, aka Peter Parker syndrome. Yeah, man. Yeah. It's I think you're right. I think it's weird. I go back to a time where I was working at a company. It doesn't exist anymore. A company called Phoenix, and I was cycling to work every day. I was cycling 17 miles, I think it was, to and from work every single day in the morning and in the afternoon. And I was working 7-day weeks at one point because they paid such terrible wages that I had to boost it with overtime. So I'd be working. I think I'd get there at 8. I'd work till sometimes 8 at night. I think if I might be exaggerating that. It might have been 9, but it was certainly more than 10 hours a day for 7 days a week, just so I could get the overtime to be able to save for a car, to be able to then get, around and then get a better job, blah blah blah. But that was still like a 4 month stretch of doing 7-day weeks sometimes, more often than not, 10-hour, 11-hour days. And I just remember being like, yeah, like, I think I gave up mentally before I gave up physically. And trust me, man, I was wire thin at the time because I was cycling all the time. But that physical pain, because I was cramped. I don't know if you've ever cycled 6 or 7 days in a row, man. That amount of mileage, your legs start to turn to fucking stone. I'll never forget it, man. I remember feeling like my quad muscles and calf muscles, right, and feeling like they don't feel like muscle anymore. There's no give to them. And also when I extend or angle them, it feels cranky, it felt like it was grindy, unless you were cycling. Once you got up to speed and you warmed up, you felt not too bad, maybe a bit of cramp, but then whenever you were just walking around, it was like wading through molasses, man. It fucking sucked. But even that wasn't the problem. The problem was the mental strain of knowing you had to do it the next day. And it got harder, believe it or not. I was seeing a girl at one point who was driving in from Luton, and I'd leave the key to my house so that she could sleep in when I fucked off to work. And like that made it so much harder, because it's like, why would I go to work? Why would I cycle 17 miles, usually in the winter, when I got this chick just in bed that let's just stay in bed. Let's just chill here. Fuck the job. What are they going to do? Evict me? Kick down the door and evict me? They'll take me kicking and screaming. But you man up. You get up. You go. Yeah, man. Like, that strain, the physical strain of it was terrible. But I got to tell you, the mental strain was so much worse and so much harder to contend with. And like I said, man, that's what's crazy. When I think back over the last 3 weeks, the physical exertion has been nominal. I mean, if you've worked in an office, you know it's not physical exertion that gets you. You sat in a chair, you get breaks, you can go grab a coffee, you can have conversations with people, you're typing. These things aren't, you don't see Olympians doing this shit. But for me, at least, it's the mental exertion. It's concentrating 8, 9, 10 hours solidly. Like, I'm not taking my eyes off screens. I'm not trying to miss a word. I'm trying to write everything down, or at least make a note of it. And then you're trying to, at the end of the day, try to sift through it, make some sense out of it, recontextualize it, actually apply it so that it makes sense to what you're fucking doing. Trial and error and failing a lot, and the frustration of not knowing, having people around you kind of seeing you struggle. It's really taken its toll and took its toll. And I mean, I've got to be honest, man. I mean, the one bit of solace I can take from the situation at the moment, and this doesn't sound like much, it's my face, right? When I'm really struggling in life, you can tell if I'm struggling because I usually put on a lot of weight, specifically in my face. I carry a lot of weight around my cookie pouch these days, and that's just me getting old, right? But the times I get really worried is when So you see that little dimple there, right? If I lose that dimple, I start getting really worried, because that's when I'm like, oh, I'm so stressed and my habits are so bad, I'm starting to put weight on in my face. Now, at the moment, I still have a little bit here. It's not as defined as it usually is when I'm in shape, but I'm 15 and a bit stone right now, so I'll give myself a little bit of a pass for the fact that I am carrying a lot around my midsection. But it's just been holding on, and now it's about, right, okay, we've made it through that rough patch. How do we get through the next one? And Troy and Charlie have kind of alluded to it. In my experience, there's a few things you do. You give yourself regular breaks to actually breathe. And I don't mean like the mental break. I mean physically breathe. Like, take a moment, control your breath, bring it in, bring that heart rate down, settle them nerves, really focus on that tension and alleviate it, dissipating it, making the mental choice to alleviate it as well. Literally thinking, right, come on, take it steady, breathe, right, let it go. That little irritating thing, I know you want to react to it, but just let it go. That guy that cut you up on the way to work, that person that didn't say thank you for that thing, that person that was rude to you, dust it off, move on to the next thing, because it's not worth it for that one slip. That one time where you let it go, it makes all that stress for naught, because then suddenly that becomes your reputation in a moment where people are still kind of finding out about who and what you are. And right now I'm just trying to hold on to what and who I am, which is, I like working harder than everybody else. I can't lie. You know, my number one mantra is I'm not smarter than everybody else. Sure as shit ain't stronger than anybody else, but I can work harder than you. I can see how much you're working and say, right, cool, I'll do an extra hour. I'll do 2. If you do, in IT, you work off things called tickets. Literally, you know, reference numbers with the details of whatever the problem is, okay? I'll do more tickets than you. I'll close more than you. I'll update more than you. I'll organize them better than you. I'll raise them more than you. You know, you get people that, again, fall on bad habits as a result of just trying to make things easy for themselves, but those then become burdens themselves. It's why, again, I think the diet and the exercise thing is so important to uphold, and I think that's what Troy and Charlie are alluding to a little bit, is the physical limitations can often help your mental limitations. Keeping fit is such an important thing when it comes to balancing your mental workload, because having confidence in your body being able to contend with the physical exertion of your stress levels peaking and the fight and flight kicking in, it's so important. That's why, you know, I've been, do you know what, man? I've got to be honest, I've probably been training not quite as hard up until recently as I have. I've had more time, more energy, just as much motivation, if anything, to be training. But I've got to be honest, I've been lackadaisical in my training. Charlie's out. Okay. Peace out. Oh, work out? Outwork? Oh, okay. I thought he was peacing out. Charlie's cutting a promo on everybody. Outwork everyone. Or is that just, I feel like are you just looking at Roman Reigns' t-shirt? Outwork everyone, leave? I think that's his, isn't that Roman Reigns' t-shirt? I feel like that's Roman Reigns' t-shirt. Hang on. I'm Googling that shit now. Let's see whose it is. Outwork everybody. All I'm really being greeted with is a succession of very, very sweaty men's faces. Just very angry. Oh, very angry, mental. Oh, Idris Elba. There you go. There's one I recognize. Idris Elba. Very sweaty faces. Oh, I'm going to outwork you by sweating. That's what I'm going to do. Sorry. I like being silly. I can't really be silly at work at the moment either, by the way, because it's so hard maintaining a professional demeanor and being my energetic self, because my energy depletes so quickly. Okay, so Charlie says outwork everyone. So I'm only judging you, Charlie. I appreciate it. Troy says, I ain't been to the gym for a week. I've had a mad chest infection, and I've definitely not felt myself. I think COVID's making its rounds again, by the way. Troy, full disclosure, I forgot to mention that. Of course, my first week, I got sick. It was Tuesday. I remember feeling like, oh, my throat's scratchy, but that's just because I'm tired, right? I get into work on Wednesday, and by midday, I'm wearing a shirt and I'm wearing a 3-piece, right? I've got a waistcoat, shirt, tie, all the rest of it. and I've sweat through the shirt. Like, the shirt's almost transparent from the sweat, and I go, I'm in trouble here. And the girl who was training me was like, why? It's hot. I'm like, yeah. And I'm cold. I feel terrible, and I'm still sweating. I think I might be ill. But to Charlie's point, outworking everyone, I still fucking turned up for work though, didn't I? Because you only get one first week. You only get one first month. You only get one opportunity to make the impression. And if the impression is, I was ill, so I decided to sit home. There's one thing. Me, nah. Because I'll forget about the fact that I'm ill in a year's time. But I won't forget about the experience of the week. And it's just about fucking deciding. I'm doing this. I'm in. I'm committed. Come fucking hell or high water. I'm in this now. I'm glad you've not got COVID, by the way, Troy. Fuck knows what the mutated version of this shit's going to be like when it starts making its rounds. And apparently that was Christian Cage's old slogan. Christian Cage has got a bit of a bad rap for slogans. I feel like he never really had a decent one. Because at one point he said... in TNA, his slogan was, and if you don't know, now you know. And someone had to gently point out to him, dude, that's Biggie Smalls' lyric. Like, I don't know if that's a good idea. And I think he dropped it shortly after that. But yeah, man, the only thing I've been able to contend with at the moment is the job. So YouTubing has taken a bit of a backseat, but training hasn't, because I felt like the physical benefits of that have been just too good to pass up. And just cutting back on my own private time. So you mentioned getting some night's sleep. Yeah, I've been going to bed at 10 o'clock. So again, I'm only having about 2 hours a night to actually do my own thing. And I got to be honest, probably half an hour of that is spent just having meals, just having breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So yeah, it's been a rough one, folks. But yeah, it's just I gotta be honest, man. I feel for you guys. If I'm being brutally honest, over the last few years, man, my working schedule has been tremendously flexible. So having to work to a more rigid schedule has been really tough to kind of get used to again. Traveling every day as well. I don't work from home anymore. I travel. I don't even just go to an office now. I travel from place to place to place. That's been a challenge because, again, I like having somewhere that I sit in is mine. So just mentally having to re-prepare every single day and get settled, that's been a pain in the ass. And just, yeah, the new equilibrium, the new way I try and dispense my energy, that's been hard. But the things I found that work, stay disciplined. So actually embrace the challenge. Put your nose to the grindstone and get on with it. Outwork everyone, as Charlie says. Just work harder for now, because it won't always need to be this hard. But also maintaining some semblance of yourself, giving yourself like rewards that then that aren't detriments. And again, that's why I get why some people are overweight or they develop bad habits like smoking or vaping or drugs or drink or whatever, because that, even if it's a momentary release, is something for them. And while I totally understand it, I really have, man. Over the last couple of weeks, my vice is food. Like, it's been so hard for me to keep to a diet, because when I'm on the road, I want to nip in for lunch somewhere. And of course, everywhere that serves lunch these days serves a fucking meal deal sandwich that was put together in a warehouse somewhere by the cheapest bidder. So the fucking food in it is absolutely trash. Everything's got sugar in it and salt in it and all the rest of that bollocks. So everything you eat, yeah, calories, but also sugar and fat. It's been rough, man. So you then say, right, I'm not doing that. I'll prep my meals. I'll bring them with me and shit like that, man. It's been rough because I just want to indulge. I just want to fucking go like, nah, just give me food and that will make me feel better. And then it's like, yeah, but then you'll be 16 stone and then you'll be 17 stone and then you'll be 18 stone and you'll be dependent on this shit, which will make your job even harder because you'll have even less confidence. And it's like, yeah, man, just trying to keep it all in check and being dedicated. And I think that's the key thing, I would say, is dedicating yourself to a proposition and not spreading yourself too thin. I think these days as well, this might just be me, and I don't know if anyone else in the audience, when they see this, if you're watching this live or after the fact, feels like this. I feel like there's a pressure to be everything to everyone at the moment. I feel like when you're in a relationship, there's pressure to be the perfect partner now. I feel like when you're in a job, there's pressure to be the perfect employee. When you're around friends, there's this notion that you have to be agreeable. You know what I mean? And it's just, no one can do everything all of the time. And I think the only two things I've done well over the last few weeks are my job. I feel like I've done a really good job of just committing and getting stuck in. And being a dad. Like, I haven't... The only other thing I've devoted a dedicated energy to over the last few weeks is my kids. Because, you know, I'm never going to drop my energies there. That's just not going to happen. So, that's made me a bad friend. Because I haven't seen anybody. Not really. It's made me a bad YouTuber because I haven't been posting on here. I don't know if it's made me a bad person. You know, I'm polite to people in my regular days. And in fact, I'm probably making more of an effort now to be nice to people. Like, just in my day-to-day, like letting people through, saying good morning, smiling, asking how people are, taking more of an interest in them than sharing more about me. But there's definitely been sacrifices that have been made. But that sacrifice is in the pursuit of making this stress go away. I don't want to be this stressed forever. It's the reason I don't want to be a manager or a boss or a CEO or any of that shit. I don't need the stress of it. I also don't need the mental burden of having people rely on me. I want to have my work. I want to get it done. I want to get it done well. And then I want to relax. And that's going to come with time. But over the last few weeks, yeah, this stress has been hard to deal with. So, Troy and Charlie are right. Get your sleep. Try and give yourself some physical exertion to try and tire yourself in a good way, but also then temper your body and mind to be able to contend with the next day better. Try to stay away from abusing substances or some kind of vice like food or drink or smoking, just because the chances are that's just going to deepen with time. It's not a sticking plaster. It's going to be something that you develop as a crutch, and that's always a bad route to go down. Troy's just mentioned here, fizzy drinks and crap food. My downfall working next door. Yeah, exactly. Because again, we're all creatures that want to go path of least resistance, buddy. I'm exactly the same. Every single day right now, I want to walk up to my local shopping centre and I want to walk right. Even the meal deal seems tame by comparison, because then you could walk into a Greg's, or you could walk past a fucking Lidl have the bake section now where you can pick up fucking donuts and fucking shortcake and shit. You can buy pies, and like, it's so easy to see myself spiraling at that point. But again, it's just about trying to catch yourself. And again, part of that is giving yourself the ability to be able to catch yourself. It's not easy to be able to maintain that kind of that momentary snapping out of the habit and then just going, right, no, hang on. You don't need it. You just want it. What you need is this. Have that, and let's get back to it. And for me at the moment, like I say, it's been, and also giving myself a bit. So that's why, again, today has been my break day. You know what I mean? And look, so Troy's just said, I'm not going to lie, I've had Greg's 3 times this week. Look, here's what I'm saying, man. I don't blame people for doing what they have to do to survive. I honestly don't understand how a lot of you guys have been doing this for years and years and years. This way of working seems so hard. It really does. And when you see, and I think it's typified by, look, okay, we've got a lot of battle rap fans that watch this channel, right? Look at the battle rappers. Look at the battlers from back in the Don't Flop days of the early 2010s, from 2013 to 17. Look at how thin they are. Look at how healthy they look. Because they're not stressed out. And they're also not abusing many things. Look at the battlers now. I think, like, Biz takes pretty good care of himself. Who else? Who else would I say is a health advocate? I mean, Jem looks like he keeps himself well. I don't know how old Jem is, though. Pamphlet looked fucking jacked, but I don't know. I don't know if he's au natural. I hope he is, because yeah, he's about to burst if he isn't. But a lot of the guys, you know, they've got the dad bod. They've got a bit, you know, podgy around the set. They've pale skin, the drawn out eyes, slightly lethargic. And that's not just age. That's bad food, bad habits. You know what I mean? Okay, so Jem's nearly 30 years old. Also, Raz Ren's in the house. Go check out our interview with him. Make sure you go and checking it out, liking, sharing, and subscribing. It was a great chat. Appreciate you joining us, by the way, buddy. Good to hear from you. But Jem doesn't strike me as a particularly stressed out dude. You know what I mean? And again, it's so easy to see it. And again, you said you had a Chinese tonight. Look, again, I get it. Because that's my vice. when I was really struggling back in the day with a lot of things personally in my life, I turned to food. It wasn't smoking or drink or drugs. It was, I'd eat for 4. I'll just say it. I was eating for 4, man. I'd buy family packs of shit and devour that shit and think nothing of it. And I'd do it at 10 o'clock at night before I went to bed, having basically eaten nothing all day long. And then I'd have 4 energy drinks in the morning. You know, but those are choices you make. These are everything so far. You make you make a conscious decision. I'm not gonna do that. I know I want to. I know I want to so fucking bad. But the consequences of it and the price that I pay, it's not worth it. Charlie's made another point. Look at a lot of the YouTubers. From when they start YouTubing to when it becomes pressurized, because now they have to succeed. It's not fun and it's not great if they do or don't. They have to succeed. Angry Joe is one that I look at all the time. I look at how youthful and exuberant he used to look. Even with the beard, he used to look like just full of energy and happy. Now look at him. Looks terrible. Boogie as well. He looks terrible, and that's after he's had a gastric band surgery or some shit. I mean, the only ones that don't look terrible are the ones that are making fitness videos, and they're lucky they don't drop dead when they're fucking 30. So Razren doesn't know me personally very well. We've had some good conversations. He doesn't know me very personally. So Razren, again, welcome, brother. I appreciate your time. I personally, I'm Pavlovian when it comes to weed in that I fucking despise it. Okay, I don't listen. Again, I get people have they're entitled to enjoy what they enjoy. I have friends that smoke weed. I know, again, big shock and surprise. Pete Soldier's a really good friend of mine. Smokes a whole bunch of weed, made a whole fucking album about it, basically. Another good friend of mine, James. James is a weed smoker, but he's also aware that I don't like it, and he asked my permission before he lights up. Never even smoked a cigarette, guys, to give you an idea. But weed is just the thing where it is a personal thing with me. I'll tell the story on here at one point, but weed is essentially it's a sticking point for me because it's kind of the catalyst for one of the worst periods of my family's history, and it's something that lingers in my mind to this day. It shouldn't hold any sway over me anymore, but unfortunately, the smell of it is Pavlovian to me. If I smell weed and I don't know where it's coming, for instance, I instantly get mad. Instantly get mad. It's the weirdest thing. I wish I could explain it. I hope a doctor can fucking explain it to me one of these days. But at the moment, yeah, if people smoke weed around me, they ask permission, I can usually make my peace with it. But it's when it's not, it's like, yeah, get that shit away from me, or I'm gonna fuck you up. And it's not pretty when it happens. I get mean when it happens as well. But this is the thing. I'm acutely aware that Razren, my friend, you are not the only one that partakes in it. And as a result, I mean, look, checkpoint 5, right? Go into the venue and it just smells like a normal venue. Walk outside the venue. Yeah. There's no prizes for guessing what it smelled like. And again, I'm not here to judge. Back to the point though. I'm not here to judge because again, I get everyone has to do what they have to do to get by. They have to do what they have to do to survive every single day, to get through their fucking stress. And all I'm sharing here is my view, having not really experienced a tremendous amount of stress. I've had my ups and downs over the last few years, as everyone has, but more that's been with depression or bouts of depression or just, misery, just going through a miserable phase. First time in a long time that I felt a sustained period of real stress. And I just wanted to really sit down and talk about it and then share my views on it, which is, as people find the venue. Is that how they find them, Troy? Okay. I personally, I have Google Maps. that's what I use. But if you're wandering around cities going, there's a battle rap near. Like, okay, fine. I'm not here to judge. That's to each their own, man. But yeah, as far as it pertains to stress, again, get your sleep. Number one, sleep is a great detoxifier of the body. Helps you think, helps you rest. It's just great in terms of giving you a separation from whatever the catalyst of your stress is. Make sure you're eating right. Give yourself the right energy. Take time to eat. If people are putting pressure on you, say, hey, listen, man, I've got to eat a couple of times a day, man. I've got to have my breakfast, got to have my lunch, got to have my dinner. You can give me 10 minutes to have a fucking meal, right? That's not going to kill anybody. If someone's like, no, it needs doing now. Fuck you. I need 10 minutes to have something to eat. Get the fuck out of my face. And something physical. Just give yourself... fucking hair. Don't eat hair. Hair's pure protein and your body can't process it. What was I going to say? Physical. Just give your body something to exert itself, to strengthen itself from, so that you can then take on the next day a little bit stronger, a little bit more able to contend with the physical exertion that stress puts on you. And just make the mental choice to commit and embrace the challenge. So many people run and hide from it, and they don't realize that the amount of energy they exert in running from it is almost equal or akin or less than the energy it would take to overcome it. And that's all I want people to take away from it, man, is just whenever you're in a stressful situation, just try and not embrace the stressor. I'm not saying that in the sense of, oh yeah, so I want to be stressed all the time. I'm saying accept the situation, embrace the challenge of it, and overcome it. Look to overcome it rather than contend with it. You know what I mean? In my case, it's just developing my knowledge base, getting to know people better, regulating my days better, scheduling my days better, feeling like I've got more confidence, taking a time to have a breath and feel like I'm allowed to go back into like non-work me. Like I'm sitting here with you now. Do you want to know how many times I get to F and Jeff during the day these days? Doesn't happen. Doesn't happen. I don't swear at anybody at the moment because you can't. It's professional. You can't swear. Whereas here on YouTube, fuck, fuckity, fuck, fuck, fuck. Freedom of speech, baby. It's brilliant. Fuck, fuckity, fuck, fuck, fuck you, fuck her, fuck her, fuck her, fuck. Great. Just for fun. Everyone in the comments. F and Jeff as much as you like. Fill this old man with joy. It's great. But anyways, so as far as, okay, here's how we'll wrap, because I've been babbling on for close to an hour. What's coming? You got Razrez interview. That's dropped. I'm chasing Bobby. I need to hear back from him. I'm hoping it happens soon. Not sure. Harry J. Robinson, aka Heretic, the same. As far as other battlers, I'll let you know when I know. I haven't reached out to him because I don't want to do more than one a week from now on. And then Troy's perked up again with schedule your journey to Apex. I'll look into it. Okay? I'm not promising anything. Because if it comes to the Friday before and I'm tired, I don't know, man. I gotta think about that stuff. Charlie, if your colleagues are swearing all the time, hey man, enjoy being able to be in a non-PG environment. Me, I'm PG now, brother. I gotta be careful with my my P's and Q's as far as being on site, because it's not on. It's not cricket. In the meantime, though, as far as battle rap in general is concerned, I hope everyone's enjoying it. Again, Don't Flop seem to be releasing some stuff. Prem are still releasing some stuff. No Loose Chat had a card fall apart recently, which is a shame. I did see that. But just enjoy it, man. It seems like a fairly harmonious time in UK battle rap at the moment. No one seems to be beefing with anybody. Everyone seems to be on a leaving page. Luna's releasing new music, so you can maybe go check that out. I know Raz has got some music dropping soon. Obviously, you've got the Gem Bizzo unification bout to look forward to. I think people should be talking about that more than they are. So hopefully, maybe more people can start talking about that. That'd be great. And yeah, I'll try and upload more as and when the opportunity presents itself. And sorry, this stream is effectively 2 days late, but we're 2 days late and sounding great. So that's all that matters. In the meantime, let's wrap it. So Raz, first of all, Razren, thank you very much for joining me, you sexy bastard. And thanks a lot for sitting for the interview today. Once again, if you wouldn't mind going checking that interview if you haven't done already. Troy, I hope you're feeling better soon, brother. I know it sounds like it's hit you a little bit, but rest up, feel better. Charlie, thank you for joining me as well. You little instigator, as always. You can't help yourself, can you? I think that was everybody. I don't know if anyone else chimed in. I don't think so. I think that was everyone. So I think that's my duty done. So thank you very much for joining me on this edition of the Halcyon Show. Please like, share, and subscribe. Check out some of my older videos, if you wouldn't mind. Keep the analytics ticking over if you haven't done. Charlie, you helped make it a good stream, so I appreciate it. Razren, cheers for chiming in. Troy, UK Battle Rap's #1 fan. Undisputed. Undefeated. You keep doing your thing. I sincerely hope everyone isn't as stressed out as I've been over the last 3 weeks. But if you are, keep going. Keep your head down. Embrace the challenge. And just know that in 4 billion years, our universe is going to collide with another one. So it doesn't really matter if you think about it. So just treat it like it doesn't matter and you'll get through. Tra-la-la-la-la-la-la. I've been your host, Lorne Risley. Thank you very much for joining me. And I guess I'll see you on the next edition of the Halcyon Show.